Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cliff Horn. I'm one of the public information officers here at TRSL, and we are going to be going over the legislative updates that happened this year. A couple of friendly reminders about today's workshop. We're just going to be using as a guide to go over some of the bills that got advanced. We'll be going over them in brief. This is a short workshop just to give you an overview of those. If you do have any questions, we simply ask that you add those questions into the Q&A box, not into the chat function. That way we'll be able to see them. With me today in the background will be two of my co-workers, Miss Jerry Mack and Jessica Trusclair. They'll both be in the back answering some questions if we need to. If you have follow-up questions, we'd ask that you send them over to us by going to asktrsl.org. There you can type in your information, ask your question. We'll be able to take a look at it and email you back a response. We will be recording today's workshop, so it will be available to watch a later date, probably by tomorrow. It'll be on our webinar page, as well as our YouTube channel. Simply search at TRSL Online, and you'll be able to watch this and all of our other webinars that we've done in the past. So let's go over a little bit about what happened this year. So the 2025 legislative session started April 14th and adjourned June 12th. We monitored here at the office several pieces of legislation that could have impacted the retirement system or its members. Overall, several pieces of legislation that were going to affect TRSL in the passage, they did pass. So we're going to take a few minutes to talk about those and see what happened. So the first one, we had return to work. No changes were made to the return to work provisions. They did enter a Senate study request about return to work. So Senator Price asked that the Senate Retirement Committee to study TRSL retirement reemployment, so the current return to work laws and the potential changes to balance out retiree options, employer needs, and the actuarial soundness of the retirement system. So just as an overview to look into our system. The biggest bill out of all of them, House Bill 24, became Act 47. It did a couple of different things. It expanded our ORP eligibility to technical colleges, their staff, beginning July 1st of 2025. ORP is our optional retirement plan that is for higher education, not K through 12. The Bill 47 also extended the window for certain ORP participants to switch back to the TRSL's defined benefit plan from 5 years to 7 years. It also created a window for certain ORP participants to become a member of TRSL's regular retirement plan should they return to employment in a TRSL eligible position. It also did where it created a 9-member ORP advisory committee with representation from each of the states for higher education systems. That's LSU, Southern, UL, and the technical schools, as well as one ORP participant not employed in higher education. This was just a committee to work on if there was anything sustainable for making any changes. They also did where they added the Commissioner of Higher Education, or a designee from them, as a member of the TRSL Board of Trustees. And then the last one, this kind of big bill did, was it allowed any individuals who are at least age 60 when they're first eligible to join TRSL employment, or if they're age 55 with 40 quarters, I always do that wrong, 40 quarters are now called credits in Social Security. It allows these two groups to opt out of TRSL membership of the defined benefit plan. Let's look a little bit back about the ORP, because for those members who are eligible in higher education for ORP or to switch out of ORP into us, we've had some new windows that came available. So if you were first eligible for ORP on or after August 1st of 2020, you now have 7 years to make the election to leave the ORP system and join TRSL's defined benefit plan. You submit the required paperwork. The deadline for TRSL to receive your election request begins on your first ORP eligibility date and closes 7 years after. The other program, or the other window, for those members who were first eligible for ORP before August 1st of 2020, but were not active and contributing to the ORP as of June 2024. Their deadline for TRSL to receive their election request is based when they were first employed, occurring on or after July 1st of 2024 in the position eligible for TRSL began in one of these two. If you were first employed beginning between July 1st, 2024 and July 3rd, 2025, your deadline is going to be September 2nd of 2025. If your first employment began on or after July 4th, 2025, your deadline is 60 calendar days from the date that you were eligible for your employment occurred. So the first start date of your employment. Those were the big bills. Couple of big frequently asked questions we get in this is, how can I make the changes for the ORP members to leave the ORP program and join TRSL's defined benefit plan? In order to use the election to join us, the TRSL plan, and leave ORP, there's a form you have to fill out. It's available online on the TRSL website. It's Form 2TR. I always go to Teachers Retirement. That's how I remember it, which is available on our website, trsl.org/forms. If you join TRSL, am I eligible, or when will I be eligible to receive my retirement? When am I becoming eligible for benefits? If you leave the ORP program and join TRSL, you fall into a category that we call the 2015 category. That means your eligibility to retire from the TRSL defined benefit system is age 60 with at least 5 years of service, or any age with at least 20 years of service, but it will be actuarially reduced based on how many years you are away from age 62. For more information on that, you can look at our member handbook, and it'll show the eligibilities, or you can watch one of our videos. We had one for planning for your retirement, also goes into that, as well as the other workshop called, what's the new one? What's the first one?
Drop 411.
Drop 411. We'll also talk about that as well. Can I refund my ORP member contributions and use that to purchase service credit into TRSL's defined benefit plan? Unfortunately, no. We're going to look at these as two separate accounts. Your ORP plan ends when you join TRSL. So any time that you have with it, you won't have any service credit, but any time you have with them, any of your sick leave, all of that is left with the ORP program. Everything else, you are starting fresh as a new member going into the TRSL's defined benefit law, or benefit plan, sorry. If you have questions about the ORP changes, it's very simple, great website, trsl.org/ORP. There it has the fact sheets, the eligibility windows, so you can walk through when you're eligible, or when you, at the latest, you can turn in to request to move from the ORP plan to TRSL. Also looking at a comparison from TRSL versus ORP, and a calculator that's available for you to look at leaving the ORP program and joining TRSL. What kind of benefits would you be eligible for? One of the other bills that came in, House Bill 307, was a citizenship immigration verification. It required state agencies or political subdivisions to, one, verify our citizen or immigration status when the applicant applies for federal, state, or local public benefits, including retirement benefits, and then two, report to the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement to terminate any recurring benefits if unable to verify citizenship or legal immigration status. Now, for the purpose of any benefits paid by any public retirement system, fund, or plan, verification of a public employee U.S. citizenship or satisfactory immigration status at the time of your enrollment in the public requirement system will satisfy the verification requirements. In other words, by you getting a job under the TRSL umbrella, they have to verify that you're a citizen or um, uh, immigration status with that. So that meets the requirements for this for the House bill. The other one, more of a housekeeping bill for us. The UAL Payment Act 222, which used to be House Bill 473, makes a one-time payment to the UAL, unaccrued liability. Is a means to fund teachers' pay raises by applying the balance of three constitutionally protected, tongue twister this afternoon, education trust funds to erase the portions of the UAL which the retirement debt owed to TRSL. Additional payment would pay off TRSL's two oldest debt schedules, thereby reducing the employer contribution rate. The Minimum Foundation Program, or MFP as we know it, the formula will include funds for the same permanent salary increases for public K through 12 employees who do not participate in TRSL. Ultimately on this, voters have to decide on the constitutional amendment statewide election on April 18th of 2026. And speaking of teacher salaries, House Bill 466 with the companion bill of House Bill 473 directs the savings realized from the reduced employer contribution rate, in other words, their portion, to make a permanent salary increase for teachers. So $2,250 for school personnel, $1,125, and then, sorry, for teachers, and then school personnel is $1,125, beginning in the 2026-27 school year, subject to enactment and passage of the constitutional amendment. It established a specific purpose for which schools must use and realize these savings to exceed what is needed in that fund to make the pay increases. Teacher salary increases portion of that HB 466 will only become effective if the constitutional amendment proposed in House Bill 473 is adopted through a statewide election. And then the House resolution, a task force to consider post-secondary retirement issues. So another housekeeping bill, the House Resolution 143 established a task force to study phased retirement programs in Louisiana post-secondary education initiative, as well as certain ORP-related issues. The task force is expected to submit a report about their findings and recommendations to legislation to the House committee by December 31st. It's just a bill to look at if there's any changes they could possibly do with that. This is a pretty quick overview of these things. I do want to mention that this information, as well as, like I mentioned, the ORP program and some other things, are available on the TRSL website, trsl.org. There, the forms like the 2TR, if you want to transfer from ORP to leave there and go to TRSL's defined benefit plan, all those forms and many others are available on the form section. The newsletters are available, as well as the webinars, including the FAQs on some of these other issues that we have. We also want to remind you, as a member with TRSL, in order to get the most updated information on your retirement, you need to go through Member Access. It is a secure way for you to go in and see all of your information about your retirement. There, you can also do some things in-house without having to contact us, such as updating your email, your mailing address, updating your name, doing estimates, getting calculations done for your retirement benefits, looking at annual statements, and also applying for retirement or for drop. Can all be done through the Member Access page. As a retired member, when you do get ready to retire, you'll also be able to use your Member Access to look at your information, as well as getting income verification letters or Social Security verification letters. All of those will be through your Member Access. Jerry, are there any questions that we may have on here? I know you were in the background typing away.
Just drop lots of links in the chat, ORP.
Perfect. Jerry has dropped into the chat function lots of workshops or lots of notifications about workshops that we've done, the ORP program and drop and some other things. All of those are available in the chat as links that Jerry has dropped in there for us. If you have questions where you want to do some follow-up or look at your retirement, we'd ask that you contact us Monday through Friday, 8 to 4:30. We're available here in Baton Rouge, or if you just want to call the number 1-877-ASK-TRSL, we'll be able to talk to you about your retirement, look at anything that you may have, or if you want, you can set up appointments where you can come in and meet with a representative to do an estimate, turn in some paperwork, or even make copies of documents to send them over to us. With that, like I said, it's a pretty quick workshop here when we're talking about just the updates. Nothing major happened for us. We're pretty happy about that. If you have any other questions, please contact us. We'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you guys so much for coming out, and we look forward to seeing you in the next workshop.